Welcome to the 2021 graduation ceremony for electrical and computer engineering. We're very glad you could join us. I would also like to welcome those who watching remotely, especially parents and relatives and friends, as well as those many graduates who are not able to be in person today. Incidentally, I should probably introduce myself. I am Randy Victoria, Head of Electrical and Computer Engineering. Before I go on, I'd like to thank the ECE faculty and staff who are with us today and who worked to make this ceremony possible. It's not part of their normal job duties, and it took a lot of work on their part. I particularly want to mention our Director of Undergraduate Studies, Professor Jim Ledger, who put a lot of work into this, and I'm sure it took him a lot of time to make this all come about. I would like to acknowledge our undergraduate academic advisor, Kimberly Scott, who is probably the ringleader, our graduate advisor, Sarah Dome, our jack of all trades, I hope she doesn't object to that title, Janine Maiden, and our departmental administrative director, Kyle Dukert, who has agreed to handle the technology. Professor Chris Kim has agreed to step in for our Director of Graduate Studies, who could not make it today, and Associate Head Professor Beth Stadler has undertaken the rather thankless task of pronouncing the names today. Finally, I want to thank Dean Moscave, who not only agreed for the college to pay for all of these departmental ceremonies once it became clear that we couldn't have the big college celebration that we're used to, but has also agreed to speak today. Thank you, Dean Cave. 14 months ago, I think we would all agree that the world was a very different place. We still had in-person classes, and we were all planning our spring break. 2 months later, we were short of masks, ventilators, and toilet paper. Our faculty was trying to administer remote exams following the mastering of Zoom, remote classes, and everything else remote. You as students had enormous adjustments as well, not the least of which was remote laboratories, which probably in that very first spring where, it was difficult to get them together. Everyone had a hard time, and the future was very unclear. Deaths were increasing at an exponential pace, and this is not a figure of expression. It really was an exponent, as people in this room are well equipped to know what that means. How many people would get sick? Would things ever return to normal? What would happen to the economy and jobs? Well, perhaps even the most difficult thing was the absence of normal socializing as we tried to adjust to the new normal, and you couldn't even get together with your friends to discuss it over beer or whatever you choose. Our graduate students faced problems too. For those working on experimental research, they had several months where they couldn't even get into the laboratory, which undoubtedly delayed some of their graduations. Even those working in theory and simulation, like my own students, found life to be less efficient with sometimes bad internet connections, reduced visualization hardware, or just the inability to discuss problems with their fellow students. I expect that senior design and other group-based efforts faced some huge problems as well. I'm pleased to say that the people in this room persevered and got the job done, even in these very adverse circumstances. There's a famous aphorism of a German philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, back in 1888, who said that what doesn't break you makes you stronger. Or I think actually more correctly, but less frequently used, what doesn't break me makes me stronger. But anyway, the idea is still true. I expect, though, that many of you have heard it before. The truth behind this idea, should be clear having gone through this experience. Not only have you shown resiliency, you have developed an expertise in responding under stress and difficulty. Learning remotely takes self-discipline, and I think we all know that is really what it took to get it done for many of you. I expect that many times you had to be resourceful in finding ways to deal with a current situation that was difficult. Even though the next time that things go badly, it'll probably be very different circumstances. You now understand the process that leads to solution. This gives you the best kind of power, the power to control your own life. So, on this note, I'll bring this introduction to a conclusion. I doubt that the thoughts of your department head are what drew you to this ceremony today, so I think I've said enough. I congratulate you on your achievements and wish you a great future as you pursue your individual goals. You should be very proud of yourself for what you've accomplished. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce our Director of Undergraduate Studies, Professor Jim Ledger, who will preside over the undergraduate part of this ceremony.
Well, thank you, Randy, and congratulations to all the seniors who will be receiving your degrees today. It really is delightful for me to look out and actually look at people's faces after 14 months, 15 months of just staring at a computer monitor. It's wonderful. But sometimes I ask myself, where would we have been if we didn't have computers and computer monitors and the internet? We wouldn't have been able to do what we've done. We wouldn't be able to carry on the education. Our economy would have been much worse. And who do we have to thank for that? We have your predecessors. We have mostly electrical and computer engineers, maybe a few computer scientists in there, I'm not sure. But those are the people that have laid the substrate for us surviving this pandemic. So in that respect, I think we have a lot to be thankful for. Some of you may know that when I first meet students, either as freshmen or entering our major, I like to ask them the following question. I may have asked some of you this question. I say, tell me the three most important things, inventions mostly, that you can think of that have profoundly affected your life that maybe were in the first half of the 20th century. Maybe going from 1880 to 1950, say. And students typically offer electricity, the ubiquitous distribution of electricity so that everybody has the ability to use electric lights for illumination, and motors that go into things that do countless tasks to make our lives less laborious. They suggest the telephone and radio, maybe radio and TV later. And they also suggest some transportation, things like automobiles and planes, airplanes. And I turn to them and I say, so I want you to think about those three things that you told me that really enrich people's lives. What do they all have in common? Well, forget the third one. What do the first two have in common? And the answer is, those were electrical engineers that came up with those solutions that you just told me were the most important things in your life that were done in the first half of the century. And then I extend it to the second half of the century, say 1950 to the present. Say, what are the most important things that are affecting your life now that were invented in that time period? And universally, everybody offers computers as the first answer to that question. Computers and the internet. And it's true, electrical and computer engineers have laid the foundation. Computer engineering and computer science were actually offsprings of the electrical engineering department. So that's a central role that these engineers have played. And then the second thing that they will offer is the cell phone. Everybody has a cell phone. Not just everybody in this room or this country, but everybody around the world has a cell phone. And that device is amazing. It seems to know everything and be able to do anything. It's really the pièce de résistance of an electrical or a computer engineer. So these are things that really have profoundly affected our lives. And the third one that's offered is, and it's very germane to today, vaccines and the medical instrumentation community. Well, that one you can say there are so many people that have contributed there, biologists, other engineers, scientists, but also electrical engineers in the contributions to MRI machines and the electronics that are used in a modern hospital and home care electronics and so on. Electrical engineers have had a profound contribution in that area. So now I want to look at everybody in this room and the other rooms and ask you the question, what do you think are going to be maybe the three most important inventions going forward? I don't know. I don't know what the inventions will be, but I can certainly tell you what some of the problems are. They're some of the most profound problems we've had ever. One of them would be back to electricity. How do we generate it with a much smaller, hopefully zero carbon footprint? It's electrical engineers that are going to be looking into, and already are looking into, solar power and wind power, and how you distribute it in a much more cost-effective and economical way, how you incorporate microprocessors into our existing devices to make them more efficient. A second one would be medicine. How do we get medical devices that are able to extend to the whole world so that we can get everybody good medical care, and by the way, reduce the price of the medical care? And electrical and computer engineers certainly are able to contribute with things like robotic surgery and telediagnosis. People are coming up with things you can screw onto a cell phone that will allow doctors to examine people from around the planet. So there are no end of things that we, one more, cars. Right now, we need transportation systems that don't pollute. And so if you look at a modern car in the next few years, it basically will be a computer with wheels, in my opinion. It'll all be electric, it'll have electric motors, and it'll just be loaded with sensors and the ability to make decisions and drive itself. This is going to be an electrical and computer engineer's playground. So in my mind, as we go forward, everybody out here has the chance to really profoundly affect the world. And we're counting on you to use your dedication and your innovation to solve some of these problems, which are some of the most difficult ones to solve that we as people have ever encountered. So I want to leave you with one more question, and that is, I looked up the definition of commencement. We're all in commencement now. I looked up the definition, and the definition is, it means a beginning or a start. So my question is, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Thanks, and congratulations again. And now I'd like to introduce the class of 2021 to receive their degrees. I understand that some of you know how to start. I think we'll have some staff instruct you how to line up by the water feature. I believe you'll be coming across and going across the stage. There are a couple places for getting photographs. And so please stay seated until you're instructed by the staff as to exactly where to go. And I'd also like to introduce Professor Beth Stadler, who is going to valiantly pronounce all your names.
Jonathan Imani Mulanda. Alexander Wolseth. Jacob Babler. Bao Niha Juni Tao. Paul Wormuth. Yaren Usita Mejia. Michael Dreas. Allison Chang. Melissa Linville. Jose Coaleo. Bridget Seifert. Alex Michael Lavalle. Michael Lambert. Benjamin Michael Bodine. Maxwell Henker. Hunter Ball. Eric Cruz Lopez. Carson Stephen Abrahamson. Michael David Carb. Seth Meyer. Samuel Esping. Declan McGrath. Roman Woolery. Tin Wen. John Dennis Polly. Peter Linden. Brody Hultman. Mitchell Dillon. Colin Timmons. Louis Paul Barrett. Pierce John Pockle. Nam Wong Trin. Jason Fadness. Jeremy Wood. Joseph Tennis. Andrew LaFortune. Kate Fernandez. Andrew Petrescu. Luke Beggs. Lizzie Ofori Omani, Omanfo. Samuel Hargis. Derek Lynch. Mario Hani Armaños. Jacob Beltman. Julia Schatz. Kevin Francis Vander Heiden. Jack Tershinsky. Ming Juan Bouye. Tyler Seaford. Dylan Earl. Carson Westra. Kaden Potapenka. Evan Rasmussen. Ryan Vilmer. Naima Tasneem. Marie Wolf. Alex Israel Lema Connor. Brian Karyakin Chentikayan. Timothy Zion. Jackson Healy Benning. Matthew Evan Brackish. Benjamin Heiniger. Huen Kim Tran. Mohammed Abdisalan Mohammed. Harith Saeed Al-Maskari. Mohanad Al-Madani. Melanie Outcalt. Kyle Tailgater. Jason Nowotny. Nathan Bish. Chancellor Emily. Tristan Butoy. And there were several students who were not able to join us today that we will introduce on the screens in a minute.
Joe Nagosick. Dylan Stockert. Kiana Vang. Jane Nguyen. Duan Liu. Rich Lydeen.
Okay, congratulations to the new graduates. I would now like to introduce Professor Chris Kim, who is going to act as the Director of Graduate Studies for this, and welcome our new graduates, PhDs and master's degree students. Chris?
So first of all, let me extend my congratulations to everyone in this auditorium, especially the master's and PhD students. I've never given a graduation speech before, so I just started making PowerPoint slides, so here we go. Reasons I am thankful for our students. So first of all, I'd like to thank the parents, of course, for bringing our outstanding students to this world. Their support and sacrifices over the years made this occasion possible. Also, the students foreseeing the value and power of the University of Minnesota engineering degree and making the thoughtful decision to come here and entrust us with your education and career development. So I thank you for that. Next one goes out to all the students, but especially for the international students. Some have traveled thousands of miles to come here to pursue an advanced degree. So thanks for adapting well to this new environment, new system, your new independence, your new lifestyle, new language. So thank you for that. Thank you for putting in the hard work. So engineering classes, of course, we know that they're brutal, they're unforgiving. Okay? And I sometimes struggle to solve my own problems. And sometimes I wonder if I can pass my own course. So it's tough. And thanks for making it through the finish line. Thanks for being ethical in all you do. When times are tough, your conscience can be tested, but thanks for adhering to the code of conduct, especially during difficult times like this. So many of our classes and research projects require teamwork. So thank you for not only pulling your own weight, but also helping others pull their weight as well. Thank you for the constructive criticism all throughout the semester. This includes the questions you ask, the assignments you submit, basically all the feedback, course evaluation, they're valuable. We do read them, take them seriously, and try to incorporate them as much as we can. And last but not least, thank you in advance for being a lifelong ambassador for the University of Minnesota EC department. You're a proud UMN EC graduate. So with that, I would like to congratulate you once again and wish you health and prosperity in the future. Thank you.
I believe Professor Bestseller is now going to read the names of the new MSEEs and PhDs.
Anas Abdullah Al Hussein. Maybe I can take this moment while we wait for the photographer to thank all of the TAs, many of whose names I recognize as I read these cards. Yeah. Your time on stage will be proportional to your time as a TA. We really appreciate your help, especially in the year of COVID. These many grad students have stood up and helped our department, and I'm sure you recognize these names as undergrads when you hear them. Faisal Al-Mutari. Pradeep Kumar Kilaru. Joseph Roshan Warrior. Zhangyang Zhao. Prajwal Raj. Aniruddha Aditya. Kartheshwar Shanmuga Sundaram. Charu Fu. Kwan Jarjun. Haran Soon. Amir Jalili. Kirti Palanisamy. Meroon Alyasi. Ashe Maniram Dikate. Abda Nevi. And we do have a few graduate students also who are not able to be with us that we will show on the screen.
Bhaskar Ravishankar. Melroy Pinto. Raj Mehta. Kartik Srinivasan.
At this point, it's time to have the degrees conferred by the regents. In this case, we're going to be joined by Regent Powell remotely. And I think it's going to show up on your video screen.
Greetings, graduates and families, faculty and staff, distinguished guests, everyone joining us. I am honored to preside at this commencement on behalf of the University of Minnesota Board of Regents. To the graduates, I extend congratulations. Through your talent, hard work, and determination, you have earned this day of recognition. We not only celebrate your academic accomplishments, but also the potential you have to make a positive difference in the next stage of your lives. You'll be contributing to your communities, the state of Minnesota, the nation, and even the world. To all the family and friends joining from near and far, thank you for the countless ways you've supported these students as they earned their academic degrees. In keeping with commencement tradition, will the graduates please rise as they are able? Upon the recommendation of the faculty, and by the authority of the regents, I now confer upon you the degrees for which you have qualified. Congratulations to every single one of you.
You may be seated. Dean Cave is now going to give a short address. Professor Cave, who I might add is from our department.
Thank you, Professor Victoria. Hello, graduates. As you've heard, I'm Moss Cave, Dean of the University of Minnesota College of Science and Engineering, but also a faculty member in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. So it's wonderful to be with you today. Congratulations on your commencement, Electrical Engineering and Computer Engineering classes of 2021. Congratulations as well to the graduating MS and PhD students in electrical engineering. You have all achieved a tremendous feat. We know that dedication, self-discipline, and sacrifice required to normally earn a degree in the College of Science and Engineering. But these are not normal times. And you have graduated during a very difficult period. What this pandemic has reinforced, though, is the critical work of scientists and engineers. With your graduation from CSE, you're now among them. You are needed. Your contributions can make a difference. The commencement is the college's happiest and most important occasion of the year. It is the symbol of accomplishment by you, the graduates, and a milestone as you move to the world beyond the university. It is a time to celebrate your achievement with your parents, family, and friends. I'm very sorry that we're not able to be together in one ceremony as a CSE class of 2021, along with parents, family, and friends, and many representatives of the faculty. But please join me with a round of applause to thank all who have supported you during your time at the university, and we hope that many of them are watching us on the internet. Although you are finishing one chapter of your life now, you are also just beginning another. Step into the new chapter boldly as you have faced this challenging year. Many of you will enter the workforce at a very uncertain time. But don't forget, you are resilient. And as an engineer, you're a problem solver. At this critical moment in our country and around the world, we need problem solvers. We need problem solvers like you, who are resilient, who can adapt and adjust on the fly, who can think and innovate in a crisis. On behalf of everyone at the College of Science and Engineering, I want you to know that we are so very proud of your achievement. You are our next innovators, thought leaders, entrepreneurs, who will help us through the current crisis, the next one, and many others to come. You are our hope, indeed, for a better future. I remind you that although as graduating seniors you have now been honored for your accomplishments, you were not supposed to have officially your degrees just yet. Only the Board of Regents has the authority to confer degrees. But lucky for us, we did have Regent Powell to do that, just that. So let me ask you to move your tassels. You have graduated, you've done it, and your degree has been confirmed by the chair of the Board of Regents. Congratulations. I wish you all the best after graduation, and I hope you continue to stay engaged with us, your department, your college, and your university. Congratulations, EE and computer engineering classes of 2021. Congratulations to all the MS and PhD students. Stay strong, stay safe.
We are scientists.
We are researchers.
We are mathematicians.
We are engineers.
We are women in engineering.
We are problem solvers.
We are collaborators.
We are friends.
We are competitors.
We are community.
We are diverse.
We are driven.
We are confident.
We are adventurous.
We are curious.
We are dreamers.
We are fun.
We are volunteers.
We are leaders.
We are entrepreneurs.
We are student athletes.
We are rocket scientists.
We are engineers operators.
We are safe.
We are sweet.
We are Ship.
We are She is Emmy.
We are Goldie-Craft.
We are resilient.
We are hopeful.
We are interdisciplinary.
We are inspiring.
We are CSE.
We are CSE.
We are CSE.
We are CSE.
We are
Graduating.
Okay. Now I'd like to give the exit instructions. The students in the room that I'm in right now, which is the main hall, will exit out the Oak Street doors, which are right there. So students in the Johnson Great Room, which is the room that I'm not in, should exit to the left and out onto University Avenue. As you exit, be sure to maintain social distance. I would suggest you exit row by row, starting in the front. I think we'll just start right there. Thank you very much for being here.